Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Villa, No Filler. Please remember to like and subscribe. Subscribe if you want Jhon Duran to keep doing that for the mighty Villa all season, bagging goals, ruining days for opposition fans. Oh my good gracious. I was there. I was there at West Ham United. So that's why this is not an instant reaction, really, even though the title is one. Because if I'd done an instant reaction, I was in no fit state to do one. Because I went to the game, I went to the London Stadium, and I had a great old time. I went there with the London Lions, Gav, Webbo, Dave, a few others. It was just a brilliant day out, and oh my goodness, you know, as I was walking out of the stadium, I was with Gav from London Lions, and he said to me, "I forgot how good Villa are." And I thought that was the perfect way to sum it up. What more needs to be said? Because you think about it, you know, contextualize it. Villa in the second half of last season, when Boubacar Kamara got injured, when the game volume went up, we got far in Europe and were fighting hard for the Champions League. The squad looked threadbare, and Villa's results became a bit more patchy, didn't they? And the kind of colossus that we were in the first half of the season, we kind of weren't quite as good in the second half of it, right? That was just an injury crisis that we had, and a squad that, frankly, did perform miracles to get to the Champions League. Pre-season, we weren't great. Some really good signs against Athletic Club, but then one or two other games where you thought, oof, that US tour didn't go well, did it? And you get a lot of new players in, you get key players go out, and you think, things are going to be a bit patchy this season, to start off with, maybe just an adaptation process. I still think there's going to be an adaptation process, but my goodness. Villa yesterday, take those cobwebs, rip them off, throw them away. And Jhon Duran himself, William Shakespeare writes plays or wrote plays about people like Jhon Duran. Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, all these people, Macbeth, whoever, all of them are these kind of unique individuals. Some of them capable of absolute brilliance, but it's something within the realms of their mind that sort of leads others to wonder, what's going on here? Well, Jhon Duran, we all know it. He has an amazing level of talent. Can he focus? Can he keep his head together? Right? Can he a young guy, Professor Unai said it, is young people mistakes, whatever. If you're a young person, you're 19 years of age, put yourself in that situation. Imagine that wherever you're from, I'm from Birmingham, Solihull. If I went from there to Colombia at the age of 19 to play professional football and earn a load of money doing it, there's a lot of challenges and pressures come with that, which at that age is quite hard to deal with. And it's not always easy to know who to listen to or to have the focus and maturity. And at that age, I was in Snob's nightclub, regretting every day, regretting every day of it. It's a different pressure, and so sometimes you just have to think, right, well, it's not great, he has to know as a professional footballer that there's certain pressures that come with it, and he's got to somehow come to terms with it. But what we saw yesterday, Unai Emery, Aston Villa, they didn't accept whatever bids it was from West Ham and Chelsea. They clearly rate him very highly. They clearly think that he's capable of offering a lot, and they're willing to deal with whatever it is off the pitch, whatever these issues are, and hope that he can sort of find his focus. And if he gets more game time this season, which I'm sure he will, well, then maybe go score goals, and there you go. There's the answer. And yesterday, what a start! And my goodness, when the Villa fans around, when the Jhon Duran scored, and everyone started giving it that and chanting irons, my soul left my body. I was just, it was so funny, so perfect. It literally went how you would have scripted it. I mean, it just did. Jhon Durán getting the winner. But I mean, from start to finish, the first 5 minutes, right? We all go into this game feeling a bit like, ooh, how are Villa going to do this season? West Ham away. We haven't won there since 2011. Unai Emery's never won at this stadium. Like, it's not ideal. Julian Lopetegui's in there, good record as well against Villa, against Emery. It's hard to prepare for what West Ham are going to be. My goodness. Aston Villa just looked so composed. It took me back to October, November time last year, where Villa were just a brilliant football team with a really strong squad. We look like it again. Forgot how good we are. Within the first 5 minutes, I thought West Ham looked a bit like didn't quite know how to approach it. They didn't quite know whether to stick or twist against Villa. Do we press them? Do we sit off them? What do we do? It just looked a bit like that. And then Aston Villa took full advantage within 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever it was. Amadou Onana. The guy behind me said Onana loves a corner, and then he went and bloody scored. And everyone turns around and asks him what the lottery numbers will be this weekend. Because Onana, if you look at man of the match, I think he won it. I think if you look at the stats, he won every duel. He won the most duels. Competed for the most duels. Won the most duels. Most tackles. I think his passing was 97% accurate. I thought he looked outstanding, and he was the kind of towering physical presence that I think Aston Villa have not had in midfield since Ian Taylor. We're going all the way back to the 90s. I can't remember. I can think in the 90s of a few midfielders that Villa had that were quite physically domineering, maybe like a Taylor, Kevin Richardson, Sean Teal. But since then, it's not really the profile of midfield we've had. Ashley Westwood wasn't that. Stilian Petrov wasn't that. Mathieu Berson wasn't that. They're all different players. They've all got their own qualities, some of them. But Onana, if you look at Villa last season, what would you say was a problem? You'd think there were times when it felt like if a team went for it, Villa didn't have the physical capacity to deal with it. And yesterday there were challenges that Onana won that I think last season no Villa player would have won. And his ball winning, his physical presence, just every time West Ham had a corner, I looked at him and I thought, oh, I'm so glad he's there. Every time Villa had a corner, I looked at him and thought, I'm glad he's there. And then every time Villa were pushing forward, West Ham were pressing against us, I'd look at Onana in the centre and think, I'm really glad he's there. I mean, wherever we found this 50 million down the back of the sofa, Monchi, pulling apart the set sofas at bloody Bodymore Heath. Oh, it was. I could write a poem about it. That I could write a novel about. We just haven't had a player like this, and just seeing him there yesterday, not just his physical presence, but his game intelligence and his distribution of the ball. I mean, him and Tielemans were a wonderful partnership. I thought they worked really well, and I think that Tielemans' life will be made a lot easier by having Onana there. Amazing. I think he already looks like a star. At the end, doing the fist bumping with the Villa fans, we were loving it. Already has built that connection. The interview after I've watched it that he did on Sky Sports. He comes across as an extremely intelligent young guy, very mature, 22 years of age. To have someone like that, who I believe has asked to speak in Spanish because he wants to learn Spanish in training with Professor Unai and various other coaches. You can't ask for more, really, can you? It looks like he's got the attitude, he's got the ability, all of it. Great, brilliant. Really, really happy. What a start. I can't wait to see how he develops the season. I really can't. Overall, I just thought first half, Villa came into it and just dominated. Took advantage of it 1-0 in the first 5 minutes. We should have been 3-0 up. I mean, Leon Bailey when he made. So I was watching it live, and the ball came to Matty Cash, and Leon Bailey sort of came inside the fullback and the centre back and ran out beyond them. And I thought to myself, well, that's interesting. Why wouldn't he go out wide just to collect it? Professor Unai's coaching works in different ways. While I'm sitting around playing GTA robbing banks, he's working out ways to exploit West Ham's back line. And Matty Cash knew what Bailey was going to do. Hit a perfect ball over the top. Bailey gets there ahead of the keeper. And it's good defending, really, for, I think it was Kilman threw himself in the way of it. But Bailey really should have scored. Fantastic stuff. But that's, yeah, that could have been 2-0. Morgan Rogers with his blistering run forward. Runs through the West Ham midfield, gets to their defence, and on another day that curves in the bottom corner. John McGinn's shot. We were celebrating. I was already off up to the bath to buy another pint to throw in the air. I don't do that. It's quite annoying that. But I was all over the place, and then the ball just trickles wide. And I was like, and then you start thinking, was this one of them? But weirdly, there was never a moment in the game where I thought Villa aren't going to find a way to win this, because honestly, I just thought, I don't know what it felt. In the comment below, let me know what you think, because watching it in the stadium, I just felt Villa were always, by and large, but for maybe 10 minutes, in control. Always looked like West Ham's chances tend to come from Villa mistakes or Villa losing the ball, or a moment of inspiration for someone like Kudus, who I thought was fantastic in the second half. But by and large, it would be that West Ham would get a chance, and then Villa would just get the ball back, and then we're all good. Villa then get control of the game and say, "Oi, just calm down, everybody, calma." As Professor Unai does that thing, calma. And and so penalty wasn't a penalty. Wasn't a penalty. In the stadium, it didn't look like one. I've seen the replay. It doesn't look like one. Is it clumsy from Cash? Is it a bit reckless? Yes. I don't think he needed to go in the way he did, but he got the ball. So I don't really know why that's a penalty. And I think if the referee hadn't given it, I have a feeling VAR wouldn't have given it either. I just don't think it was. Anyway, regardless of that, I think maybe towards the end of the first half, West Ham had a little bit more impetus. But by and large, I think Luca Dean did a brilliant job in keeping Jared Bowen quiet. I think Paqueta didn't really impose himself at all. Kudus, first half, did nothing. I thought Cash dealt really well with him. Second half, Kudus got much more into it. There were just a couple of moments where he thought, he's got something, hasn't he, Kudus? But that's it, really. Antonio didn't really do anything. I just thought Villa were just so commanding. They really were. Second half, Villa then, I thought, got more control. And then you saw the squad depth. We didn't have squad depth towards the second half of last season. This weekend, Eiling Jr. and Baranache didn't even get on the bench. I mean, blooming Nora. You looked at the bench and you saw, in the 60th minute, Jhon Durán and Jacob Ramsey came on. I think Ollie Watkins was the only player in the whole game in Villa that looked a little bit like he was still in Mykonos. Like, it just needs a couple of games to get back to full fitness, which is fair enough given the fact he had a million games last season. But Durán came on and I thought looked more like he was making better decisions than he would do last season. I think his link-up play was better. I think his laying off physically, he was able to deal with West Ham's defenders, Mavropanos. He was all over Watkins, wasn't he? He's one of them who can take you out of a game by just being a big bloody minotaur or something. Whereas I think Durán just dealt with it. Wasn't really a problem. And I actually think Durán could use his physicality more. He could be more himself, more of a bully. I think that's one way he can improve, is just go on, do it a bit more, like just smack them off the ball. Get in their heads. But yeah, really positive signs from Durán, and then Jacob Ramsey coming on. You forget how good he is, don't you? My God. When Unai Emery came into the club, Jacob Ramsey was so good in Emery's first season that he looked like he was an inevitability for England, right? Then he got that terrible injury last season, And coming back in today, or yesterday, sorry, he looked like a player who has it all. He looks physically stronger, but his link-up play, his ability to charge at the opposition defence and midfield. You've got Morgan Rogers and Jacob Ramsey, two physically big lads, really skillful lads, both charging at defences. And if you've got a player like Ramsey coming on against a tired defence, I mean, we're winning the lot. Real Madrid right now, Carlo Ancelotti's there pulling out his hair, his eyebrows up near, at the top of his forehead. Jude Bellingham, he's sat there staring coldly into the distance, 1,000-yard stare, thinking Hurricane Villa's coming. I mean, obviously I jest, but only a little bit. And then Matson, and then I talk squad depth. Then, West Ham bring a few players on to change the game, but Professor Uno goes, we'll bring a few more on, actually. Jaden Philogene comes on for Bailey. Nedeljkovic comes on for Cash. And Ian Matson comes on. And I think with Ian Matson, I think you saw immediately this guy is worth the money we just paid. Defensively, he looked really good. But going forward, getting into the final third, breaking past West Ham's lines, I thought he looked quality in his 15-minute cameo. He should have scored a goal as well. He went to pass it, should have taken a shot. And the second goal, every substitute I just mentioned involved. Pau Torres, I thought Pau and Consa were excellent yesterday. But Pau's ball forward to Matson. Matson had got forward into an area, already knowing where he should be. That touch on to Ramsey was outstanding. Ramsey's awareness of where Duran was outstanding. And then Duran's finish was excellent. It was like a goal of the season contender already. It was just a brilliant football team goal. Brilliant stuff. And then Jhon Durán, Jaden Philogene out wide. Again, looked really confident. Again, he looked at home in the Premier League. And he's a great option to have. He won a lot of tackles as well. He won 2 or 3 times. Jaden Philogene won tackles. That's a hidden weapon in his game. And then Nedeljkovic, really like him. I think he's got loads and loads of potential. I think he looked a little bit nervous yesterday. I think but 18 years of age, making your debut away from home at West Ham, you're going to have those type of games. And I'm sure that he'll just continue to grow, get better and better and better. I'm very high on him indeed. So overall, I was in no fit state yesterday to do an instant reaction. I'm barely in a fit state to do one right now. I mean, I'm tempted. It's 11 in the morning. I'm tempted to go find a pub right now and just bore everyone senseless in there about what I witnessed yesterday at Aston Villa. Bore them in the way I'm probably boring you right now. Yeah. Wow. Oh, I just. This is not what I grew up watching at Aston Villa. Aston Villa, it's always the Villa of old, isn't it? The Villa of old. Don't do these things. We go down and we politely lose. We haven't won there since 2011. It's just absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. We I'm not lost for words. Lost for words. Unai Emery has just transformed this club. We're a different football team. We're a team who should have confidence wherever we go. The squad looks stronger. I do wonder if there's one more to come in. And maybe not in attack now. It could be a Hertroider at right back. It can also play centre back. It does feel we're risking it a little bit with Consa and Power at the moment, where you think there's not a lot of depth behind them. But what a start. Bring on Arsenal. And Jhon Duran, if you're going to do the West Ham celebrate thing, I think Jhon Duran should do that before every opposition team we play now. So if we're playing bloody Crystal Palace, do the Eagle Wave or something online, get everyone riled up, get everyone annoyed, get the Palace fans laughing about it, and then go ahead and score at Selhurst Park. Do your worst, Jhon Duran. Do your worst. Anyway, I've gone on enough. You don't need to hear any more from me. Up the mighty Villa.